Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for yet another Take 30. Today's session will be focused on the new release of Cognos Analytics, which is version 11.2. So we're going to go through some introductions, walk through some feature slides, and do a demo, and then have Q&A at the end. We were expecting this to run a bit over our normal 30-minute window, but it's going to be lots of great content, so if you can stick around, that's going to be great for you. Okay, so certainly we are pleased to be joined today by Rachel Su from IBM. So Rachel is a Principal Product Manager for Data and AI with IBM, and she'll be driving the demo and presentation today. Welcome, Rachel.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Scott.
Of course. And just a quick update on our upcoming sessions. So today, of course, is what's new with Cognos 11.2. And then next week, we have what's behind developing your AI use case, hosted by a data scientist and data advisor. So you get a twofer there. All right, with that, Rachel, why don't you take it away?
All right, thank you. So first of all, it's my pleasure to be here and present the next version of Cognos with you all. The next version number is going to be 11.2.0. We stopped 11.1 stream at the number 11.1.7, which was the long-term support release. And after that, we cut over now to 11.2.0. This is the first release within the 11.2 stream. It is currently targeted for the end of April or early May. The product's pretty much all done. We're just doing quality control, very final touches on the product. It should be out of the door anytime. We're just going to drop it out there without noticing or officially announcing the date, but it will be out very soon. For 11.2.0, like Scott said, I may take more than 30 minutes, and you can stay around for questions. I'll look at questions and do some answers as well there. I'm going to show one slide before I flip into a product demo. So at any time, Scott and Debbie, if my screen isn't advancing anymore, or if you are having trouble hearing me, just yell at me. So I'm not wasting too much time talking to nobody or showing the wrong screen. So for this release, 11.2.0, something that's very exciting to everybody is we've done a lot of the UI revamp. Now, sometimes I'm gonna hear customers saying, who cares about UI? You're changing the UI again. But hey, this time we really looked at what are some of the things we didn't get quite right. What are some improvements we can do within the product from UI perspective, as well as navigation, user experience, workflow perspective. And we've done a lot of improvements in this front. We've done investment. Actually, if you're looking at this highlight list, we have done features in every area. So without further ado, let me go ahead and show you the UI revamp, starting with the home page. And I'm going to flip into my browser. Again, if you can't see my browser, just let me know. All right, so this is the newly designed home page, home screen. We have adopted IBM Carbon design system. You can see the color, the fonts, the icons all got an update, and overall design flow, the layouts are all changed. All right, so we have changed by adopting IBM Carbon design system, which is cutting edge new design right now on the market. And if you've used our Cloud Pack platforms, other products, and Watson services, you will see some familiarity. And this is the design that every IBM strategic products are adopting. Now here is the home screen. Unlike the previous versions, in the previous versions, you will see on the left-hand side, there is a panel that has your My Content, public content folders, recent, manage. They're all staying up there on the left-hand side, taking up the space. We've taken that away. Now you're really truly having all the space to yourself to look at the home page. Everything you're seeing here is customizable. So the top part, the image, you can customize, the text, the icon, logo, the branding, everything can be changed. We've got the watch the video to get users started right around here. These are newly made videos. You can take a product tour because I'm using a cloud environment. If it's on-prem, you don't have this product step-by-step walk me tour for on-prem installs, but for cloud, you will get this. At any time, you could close this banner if you are you just want to save space and focus on the actual content. Now under here, quick launch. So quick launch, you can also minimize it or expand it. This is your one-click access to a lot of the components. And this changes based on the capabilities, based on what you have access to. If you don't have access to data modules or upload files or explore, then you won't see any of these tiles. And under present data, you will get your dashboard reports and stories here. And at the bottom here, there are some quick access to get users started. You can explore our samples by feature, by industry. You can view all samples, and you can launch the Learn pane directly over here, which we introduced in 11.1.6, powered by Watson Discovery. And you can slide it out. And Accelerator's catalog link is directly presented here. This is where we host a lot of our samples. You could find sample reports, sample dashboards. We actually published more sample reports lately. Sample extensions, custom controls, visualization, custom visualizations. A lot of very good materials can be found at Accelerator's catalog, and which you can directly access here. And here is a tile that says a recent, which will list you all your recent accessed objects, reports, or folders, or dashboard. But this is not really it. This is just a quick access to places. We do remember where you were when you go navigating away from the screen and then come back here. We remember where you were last. So we'll bring you back to this screen, this exact screen, if you navigate away. Now, I mentioned earlier on the left-hand side, in the previous versions, there are a bunch of things, my content, team content, creating things. They are all over here now. So this is what we call a hamburger menu, hamburger menu, where you can still find your content, your recent accessed information, and all the manage is also a part of here. And this is where you can find to create modules or explore reports, jobs, and other applications as well. I'm going to spend time to go into content. Unlike previous releases, when you go to browse my content, team content, we're going to give you the slide out panel. Now, a lot of customers have lots of content, thousands, tens of thousands, millions of reports and assets in the folders, 10 folders deep down. So that sliding out panel may not work for every customer, especially for customers with a lot of content. Now we're giving you a full screen view of all your content. Now remember, I said everything is customizable. So on the top here, my content, team content, samples, you can add more tiles, more tabs here, quick shortcuts to different folders directly on the screen. And you can switch between my content, team content. Not only that, we're giving you the full screen to display all your content, we're also bringing back a better list view. I'm just going to move this GoToMeeting navigation away. Okay, so on the right-hand side, you can see right now I'm in a tile view, and I can switch to list view. So let me switch to a list view, and from this list view, you can see all your content here. And there are other ways to control this. If you want this to be a compact view to save some space and it will fit more content, or short view, which is somewhere in between a default. So when we design products and softwares, we keep in mind how users may have to use this on a mobile device. If the list it's too compact, it is difficult to select individual items. That's why you will see wider spaces. But if you're using a monitor like what I'm doing now, you probably would want to have a compact view if you have a lot of content, so you can view more content in one screen. We have also organized the content better with different colors, right? So you can see data module has different icons, but it's a different color, and we usually list folders at the top. There are other things you can do to help you filter down your content by type, right? Or modified date. You could easily sort them. And there are other options, actions that you can perform. We've added refresh. This was not here before. With the list view, it's also very easy for users to do things like select all. So you can do a bulk editing, right? You don't have to individually make selections. You can make multiple selections by using the check boxes here, and then do something like hold down your shift key on your keyboard. Right? And these are all the shortcuts that we support now, and all the actions based on what you have selected are directly available at the top. Let's say you have only selected one item, let's say a report. Okay. You will be able to see the actions available that can be performed on the report, but we've also brought a details panel. Let me switch to a list view for this for now. So let's say if you have something selected, you can go to the details on the right hand side. So these are accessible, available either you're in tiles view or list view. The detail panel is quite nice in a way that sometimes, and I'm pretty sure you all have this scenario where you have a lot of reports dashboard and they all named very, very similarly. They may have super long name and only the last word or two are slightly different. And sometimes you need additional information to help you discover which is the correct report or dashboard that you're looking for, or for package or data module. This saves you a lot of clicking because you could just start clicking different objects, right? In the view, it could be list view, it could be the tiles view again. And on the right hand side, you can see the details panel updates with the information of the object that you're currently selecting. And of course, you can open, run as added, and do a bunch of other actions directly on here. You can also launch properties here. There are many ways to access actions and properties. I talked about there are things here on the details panel that stays open, right? It stays open as you're selecting things. You can close it. You could also access actions from this blue bar. You can also, there's still the overflow menu's 3 dots can be used, where you can click on that and additional options are presented here. And you can see when we're making sure that we're giving you different color highlighting for things that requires warning you're about to delete it, or we're actually highlighting in a different color. So a lot of design thought process have gone into a better navigation, I'd say a better organization, better UI, a better experience in this release around navigation. Another thing I want to point out is the search. We have moved search on the top, where you can actually access it anywhere in any screen. Doesn't matter where you are. It's going to stay there. And I'll show you this by, let's go into create a new report or dashboard. Okay, so I'm going to do that first. So let's say I want to create a new dashboard. Now, when you're creating a dashboard, there are some things that's changed. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and choose a template. I'm not going to actually do a dashboard creation, but this is more focusing on show you the, I'd say the navigation out of the dashboard UI. And then looking at this, there are things you will notice that's changed. The application specific icons are moved outside of the top bar, rather into the application itself. So in the previous versions, you will probably see edit, pencil, save and share and all that sort of icon action buttons are on the top bar. Now they've moved within the application because they apply to the component, the application you're working in. We've updated the select a source or save source dialog. A lot of customers were asking us to have a way to filter, to sort when we're selecting a source or save a dashboard or report. And now these dialogues have all been updated to the same one where you will see everywhere that has sort option, the view options, and filtering options. That's going to help you to be very easily navigate things. And you can see this search thing, it's still available at the top, right? Let's say in the past, if you're working with a dashboard or report and you're trying to look for other content, you have to go back out to the home page and then access search. Now this search is available. I can start typing customer. Let's see. I found the customer experience that I'm looking for, and then when I click on that, the search result actually comes back with full screen. Gives you a lot of room, a lot of space to really understand which one you're looking for with the location information, and you can filter. You can even save your search results. And your dashboard was still open here, we didn't close it. And then going into, if I'm creating a new report or data module, the UI has also changed a little bit in a way that the top toolbar have moved off the overall portal toolbar into its own application. So over here you can see that edit button, save, shared, report navigation, run button have all moved within the application itself. And then selecting the source dialog has been updated like a dashboard. And if you're performing a save, the dialog is changed as well, using the same dialog that allows you to sort and filter. And these are all improved. Since we are in the reporting, I'm just going to show you a couple of things really quickly. We have also made some updates in our properties. We've changed whenever there's state of selection as yes or no, so only 2 state. We've changed it to the switcher. So the toggle switch, so it's very easy for you to see which one is enabled in what state. It looks much nicer. All right, so I'm gonna leave this here for now and go back to my slide presentation, the one that I was sharing. So I've showed you all these fantastic things, and here's a quick example of how your portal could look like if pause. No, I don't want to pause. It's playing. Okay, how your portal could look like when you have it customized. You could really use, you can still use a report or a dashboard as your home screen. You could have your home screen customized to not have anything but just horizontal tabs pointing to shortcuts of different reports or different folders. If you've used Cognos 10 and prior before, this is getting closer to almost like satisfying a lot of the portal tabs, portlet kind of use cases. So you can really customize the navigation and the home page similar to what you could in Cognos 10 around portlets and navigation. These are done. I'm going to skip the portal and home page new features. Next, I'm going to jump into the mobile app. We have released a new analytics mobile app that works with pinned visualization, support pin boards and sharing and notifications. In the initial release of summer 2020, we support iOS and cloud only. We've added Android support February 2020, and we've added on-prem support in the, it was just last month, March 2020. So you can download the updater from our Fix Central for 11.1.7 Fix Pack 2 and onward. So if you are on 11.1.7, you will be able to use this mobile app, iOS or Android on-prem or on cloud. You just need an updater. But this mobile app is going to build into the 11.2.0 server. Going forward, you don't have to install anything additional to be able to use the mobile app on the server side. Now, I just talked about the homepage navigation improvement and UI revamp. Next, I'm going to talk about dashboard. The major thing, what we really invested in 11.2.0 is looking at performance of dashboards. This is an ongoing effort. It is not just one thing that we do. This is phase one of many other things that we want to look at. In this phase, we paid attention, we focused on the initial load release, initial execution of dashboards. We have looked at everywhere, including, but not limited to, better caching, trying to be more smart, trying to be smarter about loading some of the initial CSS and JavaScript, metadata performance improvement, caching for visualizations, a lot of things that we have done to help improve the dashboard performance. And here is a video comparison showing you the differences between a 11.1.7, which is the top right corner in the smaller screen, and the 11.1.2. You can see the 11.1.2 is already started rendering and it's actually finished, where the 11.1.7 dashboard was just start loading, right? So I'm trying to filling the time because it's still loading. So it's huge improvements. Of course, I'm not saying any dashboard will see this much improvements. It really depends on what was the cause, how your dashboard was authored. But you should expect to see a very good, quite a bit of performance improvements at the initial loading of dashboard. Like I said, this is phase one. Going forward, we're going to continue looking at other ways to improve the initial load, as well as maybe interactions like filtering, sorting, anything that you perform on the dashboard, how to improve these performance for these areas as well. We've added 2 visualizations into dashboard. These 2 are currently available in reporting. They've always been in reporting, but they were not previously in dashboard. Based on customer requests, a box plot visualization as well as radar visualizations are added, brought into dashboarding in this release. We released the feature to support baseline for visualizations in Cognos reports in 11.1.7. We supported categorical index, numeric value, and percentage on axes. But a lot of times your baselines are not that straightforward. You want it to be based on a condition, on a calculation, on some advanced functions. You want it to change dynamically based on some other factors. So we brought in the support for calculation-based, expression-based baseline. So you can really use any conditions you want into your expression. The baseline is going to render based on that condition. It's supported for all the visualizations that has axes, and it's supported for PDF and Excel rendering as well. We've added the support for local languages on maps. So on the left-hand side, you can see these are English labels for the location names, whereas on the right-hand side, those are local languages displayed on the map. I've talked about this. The application-specific buttons moved into the application. One thing I want to mention in reporting is that we've improved the run button. It seems like a small change, but it's going to really help report authors to test reports faster. So in the previous versions, you have to select a different version or you have to select different format by doing 2 clicks. You have to click the run or the drop down and then select that format every time. Now that drop down, that drop arrow is a down arrow. It's going to be somewhere you select the format. It's going to show you what's the current format selected, and onward, every time you click on the run button, it's going to remember and know which format to run. So if you have selected run in PDF, going forward, every time you click run from the reporting authoring interface, it's going to run in PDF every time. We've added 2 themes, and these themes are baked into dashboard themes. The dashboard light and dark themes have updated to carbon light and carbon dark. And in reporting, we've added 2 more report style reference reports. One is Carbon X light, one is Carbon X dark. These are the carbon design themes from IBM. We thought it would be a good idea for customers to, if they want to explore a different kind of color scheme when they create reports, you can see this is a carbon light in a report, and this is a carbon dark in report, what it may look like. So all the fonts, color spacing, border color, everything is pretty previously done, like selected design for you. If you want to explore a different option of authoring, presenting, styling your report, these are pretty cool actually. We are now supporting S3 storage for TLS certificates. This is a huge I'd say, usability improvements, especially for our cloud customers. You no longer have to import your SSL certificates through command line utility. We support S3 based storage now. This is very cloud friendly. You can easily give us the connection information and we can import certificates all from there. Our AI assistant, which is the place that allows you to have a conversation using natural language with the software by asking questions, and we will respond with a visualization to answer the question, where you can then include that into a dashboard story as part of your presentation. We also have the support of a predictive forecasting, time series forecasting that can predict the next N period based on the multiple series even. Now these were working for relational data sources only. Now we've added support for OLAP cubes as well. So if you're using OLAP cubes, could be PowerPlay cubes, could be TM1 cubes, you can now use AI assistant and forecasting features with them. These are two very popular features a lot of customers been waiting for. Watson moments. So this is going to be our first Watson moment out of many. So what does this mean is IBM as a company spent a lot of investment into research. They have research in many different areas, and you may know there are medicals and other areas, but there are a lot of AI or areas that are very specific or relevant to analytics softwares, to something that our customers can benefit from. That's available there, that's available for us to leverage. So what we're looking at now and onward is looking at what are some of the very interesting key research projects that IBM has, something that we can leverage, built that into Cognos. So the first one we're looking at is replacing and actually enhancing our current NLG NLP with the IBM Research NLP library. It is again free for customers, no additional configuration or setup that's required. When you're interacting with AI assistant, we're going to give you Watson insights for some of the data that we can detect, we have knowledge of, to give you further explanation to help you really understand the data even further. Today, we're giving you a visualization, but with the newer version, we're going to help you explain why was the relationship, what this relationship really means. It will help you to understand if this is the right visualization to use in your dashboard or in your exploration, in your stories. We have also improved our Watson Studio integrations. In the previous versions, we support Watson Studio to connect to Cognos data and augment in Watson Studio and put that data, augmented data, save that directly back into Cognos. Through our Jupyter Notebook integration, which has been out for many releases, we allow you to not only use Jupyter Notebook to augment Cognos data to save it back, but also bring an output cell into Cognos report or dashboard for presentation. Now that stage has been implemented, done for the Watson integration as well. So now with Watson Studio, you will be able to augment Cognos data, save it back to Cognos, as well as bring Watson Studio output cells directly into Cognos reports or dashboard as part of your presentation. Last but not least, we are making a couple conformance updates for this release. We are going to deprecate the support of Microsoft Internet Explorer 11. Microsoft itself is going away from IE 11. It is a very old technology legacy browser. Microsoft has already stopped supporting it with many of their cloud products, Office 365, Teams. They're going to officially, and I know the official end of support by Microsoft is with Windows 10 lifecycle, which is 2025. But there is no investment going into IE 11. We're seeing a very poor performance with IE 11, many issues that can't be addressed by Microsoft in IE 11 anymore. So starting 11.2.0, customers will not be able to launch Cognos 11.2.0 and onward when using IE 11. Now, a lot of questions for customers using legacy studios are going to be Query Studio, Analysis Studio, would start with PowerPlay Studio, and I've also, it's not listed here, but I've also heard people asking about Event Studio. So for Query Studio and Analysis Studio, there will be no conformance updates. So Query Studio, Analysis Studio are supported using IE and Firefox only. In 11.2.0, you can only access Query Studio and Analysis Studio in Firefox. These are deprecated studios for many, many years. We're going to make a push to eventually move them outside of the product. We have not made we don't have a targeted timeline yet, but I've been having a lot of conversations with customers using these two studios, trying to help them to understand what is the migration path. The idea is to help them to move off these two studios into either dashboard or reports. And if there are major feature gaps that's stopping customers from moving, I'm collecting these and I want to prioritize them. We're looking at how maybe we can address some of the major gaps in upcoming releases in the attempt of really helping customers to move off these two studios. We're not supporting them. We haven't really been supporting them for many years. We're not supporting IE 11 anymore, starting 11.2 and onward. Microsoft is dropping IE 11 support. There are many reasons to really push customers to get off these two studios. PowerPlay Studio is going to support Chromium Edge. It's already supporting Google Chrome and Firefox. We're adding the support of Microsoft Edge, the Chromium Edge, not the legacy Edge. Again, Microsoft has three browsers, I guess, IE, Legacy Edge, and Chromium Edge. The Legacy Edge is not going to be supported by us either. In fact, Microsoft has already, I think it's coming out this month, to have an updater to uninstall Legacy Edge, replace it with the Chromium Edge. That Legacy Edge is dead. We're not supporting it either. So that's the plan. If you have question about Event Studio supports IE and Firefox today. Event Studio is not deprecated. We're not deprecating it. We want to continue supporting it. We're currently looking at the feasibility of supporting Event Studio in Chrome. When I say Chrome, I mean Google Chrome and Chromium Edge. They're based on the same technology, but we test them separately still, and we call them out separately. So we're looking at supporting Event Studio in Chrome. There are two features that's IE specific in the product today. One is PDF drill through. So this is when you run a report in PDF format and click a link within your PDF report to drill through to another report. It was only supported when you're using IE with the IE PDF plugin. Now with IE being deprecated, we actually did work in this release to support PDF drill through in Chrome and Firefox. Now you will be able to open a PDF report in Chrome, Google Chrome or Chromium Edge or Firefox and click on the link and perform drill through. There is a limitation on Firefox currently because Firefox has a defect with their PDF, with the PDF JavaScript library. The newer version of Firefox will work just fine. It is not something we can code around with, but as soon as Firefox provides an update, I think 90 or above, it's going to work just fine. Another thing is active report is IE only. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. MHT file that's consumed outside of Cognos, offline from your file explorer, from local file system, it's IE only. So what we're looking at is instead of using browser, we're building a desktop app that will replace your browser to allow you to continue consume, render, and interact with the MHT files offline. And that app is not currently finished. And the good thing is it doesn't have to go out with a Cognos release. We're targeting to have an additional month of focused development time of that app after the 11.2.0 product release. So right now we're just trying to get 11.2.0 out of the door, and then we'll spend a month to finish the active report viewer. It's already in very good shape. It will support both Windows and Mac OS. So we're actually adding support for it. Currently, active report can only be opened in IE, which is Windows only. The performance is quite good. It's free of charge. It's just a free app that we created using the open source. We're going to host it on community. Anyone can go and download it. You no longer need a browser to open active report after using that app. Now, that's the end of the presentation. I didn't go over too much, and now I'm going to open for some questions.
We have a few that we answered already. One was about analysis in Query Studio, which you covered. Another question, is Watson Insight a new tool in version 11.2?
It's not a new tool. It is rather so we branded it with Watson because it's Watson technology from IBM Research, but it's not a new tool. It is an improvement built onto our existing AI assistant. When you're asking certain questions, there's sometimes the Watson library that we're using can provide additional insights. So it's not a separate new tool per se, but it is a new technology that we have integrated, brought into Cognos to enhance our current AI assistant capability.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, a question about extensions. Will extensions that affect the welcome page need to be updated for 11.2? So these are presumably ones that have been built in previous versions.
Yeah, it would depend. Let's say what your extensions are doing. If you're just using extensions to provide additional folders or so, they will just show up as horizontal tabs. So it really depends on what your extensions were, how you coded it. But the idea is we will support existing extensions. I would we'll have to look at them one at a time to see what you were doing, because that's somewhat custom that we have. In many ways, we can't predict what you have done in your extensions, but largely the expectation is we would support. And if it doesn't work anymore, there's got to be a new way to do the same exact thing. Okay.
And we've got one looks like one final question. Oh, well, no. One question. Is there any change to the expected release cadence moving forward with 11.2? So in the past, it's been roughly quarterly. Does that cadence change?
We have no plan to change it, but that was always just a targeted time frame, right? Continuous release. The idea is that we are there will be no fixed packs for continuous release unless it's the last one, which is long-term support release. But for continuous release, in between all these sub-releases, there will be no fixed packs. We would have a release roughly quarterly, including new features and fixed packs. And sometimes it's more than a quarter because some of the features would require longer time to complete. And for 11.2.0, we took longer than a quarter. It's almost 2 quarters because of the UI changes they're too dramatic. It really required a lot of testing as well. That's why it took a longer time. But going forward, the target is still continuous release. Hopefully, we can expect another release in late summer, fall. I would say that's probably somewhere we're targeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so one final question here. Has all the Cognos administration functionality moved to the new GUI? I guess the new carbon.
Oh, not all the administration UI. So we didn't do a lot of administrative old legacy UI moving to the new UI in this release because we focus too much on the home screen and navigation improvement. But going forward, yes, you will still see gradually there will be UI changes, the modernization of the administration part.
Okay. All right, so that is the end of the questions. So Rachel, thank you very much for taking us through that. Looks like an exciting release. Looking forward to getting it and starting to use it.
Thank you very much. I'm really excited for it too, and it should be very soon.
Okay, and thank you all for attending. And again, look forward to next week's Take 30 focused on data science. Thank you very much, and have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you again.